You mentioned, going over and training with Lance Storm. How did you find that?
I loved it. I loved it. I actually got very lucky because so we had a really, really great class as well. Like we had, obviously it was Keegan and I. You had Tony Toro from what's it called, Adelaide, who was there as well. We also had Dominic Mysterio in our class as well. And the thing is,
Oh, nice.
everyone was awesome. Like everyone was so cool. Even with me, like I was the only girl at one point because there was another girl that was there as well, but she actually had to drop out. I think the third week because she did something to her ankle, and so by the end it was just me. But the perks of being the only girl is no one wanted to train with me. I think they were just very scared about hurting a girl. But no, but it worked well in my favor because I had to pair with Lance for everything. So anytime we did drills, anytime we did matches, anytime, I think I was the one who got to do everything with Lance. And I swear it helps because, when you first get in the ring with someone like him, it's nerve-wracking. Like it was scary. Like I was just like, oh my God, like don't vomit, don't faint, don't.
Mm,
But over time, it just kind of feels, it doesn't make you feel like, you know, I'm Lance Storm, I know everything kind of thing. He makes you,
yeah.
he makes it feel very normal, but it doesn't feel like it's a thing. You know what I mean?
Doesn't try and big time you going, okay, look, it's
No,
me,
I mean
Steve.
he does with some things, like he does, but I also feel like he kind of has every right to do it because of all his experience and considering, he's been training, he'll get in there as well and do everything with us and show us how to do certain things, and he does everything flawlessly as well, like which is very impressive for someone who is retired. Like you could just tell he's taken a lot of like a good care of himself, and I reckon if he were to have a normal match now, he'd be totally fine. Like he does not look like he's got bad knees, a bad back, like some of the other older wrestlers that you see that have retired. Like he does not look fragile even at all.
Because I think he took care of himself during his career. Like he wasn't big on like booze and drugs, and you know what I mean. I don't know if
No,
he was
he's so
if he was,
anti. He was telling us he has never even had a birthday cake. He is so like strict on what he eats and his diet. But he cares so much that he'll do that. You know what I mean?
that's insane.
Yeah. So I mean, I remember when he said that to me, I was like, oh, I still want cake. Like, I can't do that.
But again, that's dedication to the craft to where you want to get to. And if you look at it in his career, ECW, WCW probably had one of the greatest runs in WCW in the final year or two of that company's existence. Went to WWE, had a pretty decent run in WWE. Like even then, like he wasn't a
Yeah,
world champion. Doesn't mean he's not knowledgeable. Doesn't mean he's not experienced in the business. Doesn't mean he's just as good as the guys who were in those spots. It was just the way that the
100%.
cards fall sometimes. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
like I think that's where like I think a lot of wrestling fans they look at certain things like Stevie Richards, who's a friend of mine. It's like I've done live streams with him on certain things, and someone
yeah.
commented going, "What would you know? You were never world champion." It's like
Doesn't
Stevie
matter about
Richards
that. I don't think though.
but bro, like Stevie Richards is one of the most intelligent human beings in the world. The fact that you would judge him and not being a world champion in
Oh,
wrestling is just like
yeah.
the most ridiculous thing.
No, 100%. Like, if you watch any of his matches back, like he was flawless. He was very good at everything he did. But the way you also know how good someone is look at all the people he's trained and look at how
Mm.
great, like majority of them got signed. Majority of the guys he's trained have gotten signed and have gone on. Like, he trained Dom. So before Dom got signed, Dom, like, I mean, he had done some stuff from what I remember with his dad, but
Mm.
he was also learning from scratch as well. And, you know, like Lance knows his stuff and he really he's just got a lot of he's got a lot of knowledge. Like he just knows a lot, and because you can tell he cares a lot about the wrestling. Like hence, the no cake thing. Like
Mm.
he
But
just
that's the
yeah.
thing when even when you said Dominic Mysterio, his dad is Rey Mysterio Jr.,
Yeah. Oh my
who
god, do you know
knows
what the
who
most
what he you know what I mean,
yeah,
who knows what good wrestling is. So he's not going to send his kid to a fucking carny.
100%. 100%. 100%. Like so Dom actually started a week after we had started, and then we kind of had found out. So, Lance had kind of put everyone in a little huddle before we started training. It was like, oh, just so you guys know, we've got Dominic Mysterio coming into training, starting with us soon, and his dad's actually going to be coming, and he wants to watch like some of the training for the first day. So, blah blah blah. And I remember in my head thinking, oh my god, like
Going
Jesus
into
Christ,
Dominic
like
Mysterio.
I was like, oh my God. Well, at first I was a bit like nervous just because I was like, oh my God, like his dad's Rey Mysterio. But then I'll be honest, by like the third day, it was like nothing. Like he is the best. Like he's the nicest guy in the world. Like he always checks up on Keegan and I as well. And you know, like if I were to message him tomorrow and just be like, oh my God, like you've been doing so great, I'm proud of you. Like he'll always reply back in a heartbeat. Like he is so genuine and such a great, great human being. Like never ever
Just
made you feel
good
like who he
values.
was or
Good
anything.
values.
Yeah. Oh, he was great. He was awesome. But yeah, like he just with oh yeah, so as I was saying, sorry. So when Ray came in to do to watch us train, like it was just one day of training where he sat the whole time just watching all our stuff. And you know, obviously it's very nerve-wracking when you've got Lance Storm and Rey Mysterio watching you train. But you know, he had actually said that I think he actually said that Chris Jericho was the one who highly, highly recommended Lance. And also Ray knew that Lance was the best trainer for him. So part of
Mm.
me also was like, I am so glad I'm here. And you know what, looking back, I mean, not that I've ever doubted it, but I'm glad that I did it all because, you know, what, 2 years later, he shut down his school completely. And
Yeah.
I think to myself, like, I am so lucky that I can say that I was trained by him because, you know, not many people ever get to have that opportunity. I mean, there's a lot of great schools, but I think Lance's one is one of the most known ones out there and definitely an experience. It was just definitely the most best thing I ever did.